And we're live, episode 2. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, it's so long since
It's
we've
been a
seen
while
you.
since we've
Yeah.
seen you guys.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you guys for coming back again.
Thanks.
I think it's Inaya's question now.
Yes, we are going to. So, you guys say they're pretty much equal in terms of humor, but which child has given you the most grief from past or present? I need to know this. I want to know.
Grief is a hard thing, but
Which has created the most?
Inaya, your framing is still all screwed up.
Sorry.
I think
neck
the
up.
context. Number one, I think there's always challenges. Whenever we had plenty of our own challenges from how we started and being young, whether they were financial or other things. I think I talk about this lots of times, and again, it's an interesting context to put it in because every single person individually is so different that there's enough variances that it's hard to call out like, hey, where's the scenario, right? Like it'd be different if, God forbid we had bigger or worse things happen, then the scenario might be different. But by the grace of God, we were blessed with having pretty good lives and pretty average or normal challenges, right? We didn't have major accidents. We didn't have major health issues by the grace of God. We didn't have drug or alcohol issues or things like that would have been extremely challenging just for us to overcome. So given that context, I think it's very balanced and the challenges were very normal. I think that the thing that I found the most frustrating, and I think I told you about this the other day, and it's funny because one of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older, and one of the things that I wish I could go back and not do, was just not go back and I think punishing kids is stupid. That's just my point of view now. I'm not saying any other parents doing it's wrong or
all the other parents are wrong.
You heard it here.
As I look back and reflect, I just go, it's such a weird concept because my whole professional career, I've managed people in some form or fashion. I have never once grounded an employee, and it doesn't work. And you can't make employees do anything, and you have to reach and connect with them and then help and understand their perspective and their narrative. I don't think dealing with children could be any different. And the idea that you punish them just feels so weird because it doesn't help. It doesn't fix things. It doesn't help connect or at least get to the same place. So given all of that context, I think the most frustrating thing when I was in a little bit of a different mindset was with Jordan, because I could ground Jordan and Jordan would just go say, okay, I'd take it, you could take his phone, you could take his video game, whatever. He would just be like, okay, and he would just go in his room and he would go to sleep. And I would be like, well, that's not helping anything. Jordan, you have to come in the living room. Okay, then he'd sleep on the living room. And he was very, very willing to just be like,
he'd accept the punishment, but he would just outlast you.
I'll just wait you out, right? Because now you're like, do I really not want the kid to see his friends? Do I really not want him to go outside? Do I really not want him to be able to do the things that he wants to do? Nasim and Caden always, Caden for whatever reason, and Nasim were both, a little bit more inclined or driven to not do that scenario, right? Or it felt worse for them or whatever, right? Where Jordan was just like,
I was stronger.
Okay, I can wait. So I think probably the best context I could give you, that in itself was the most challenging. And I think some of it just stems from, I could have done a better job connecting and understanding more about what was happening and what was playing out for Jordan. And I think if I would have connected better, then we would have gotten to a much better place versus trying to use punishment as a way to try to change that direction, because it didn't work.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I agree with him. I think every kid has their challenges at different times and different moments. And Nasim was hard at times for me because of we would be on Shark Week at the same time. So she would start crying. I'd be like, don't you dare do it. No tears. Stop crying. Don't cry. Like it was just, I would be trying to talk to her or tell her something or do something, and she would get very emotional, and I was already like emotional.
And
And
she's a mad Shark Week. For those who don't know, Shark Week is your period.
Yeah, that's when they're ragging it.
rough time, but
so
and I
funny.
think all of them had different challenges, you know what I mean? Like I think there's things that, like he said, you know, now he sees it and he thinks like punishment's idiotic or whatever, but I look back at it and I just kind of think like, man, I wish there's things that I regret and I wish I would have known or been able to do differently with all of them, you know what I mean? And with I particularly Nasim and Jordan for me, because I think I had gotten a little bit better probably by the time I had Caden, and I was a little bit smarter, not a lot, but a little bit. And so for me, there's just things with those two that were a little bit they were challenging, but then I also see that I was part of the challenge too, you know, because I was trying to figure things out.
I'll also say this: it's harder. It's harder, and both Trish and I have talked about this. It's harder for whatever reason. This particular scenario is harder with same gender. So like, it was harder for me to say nice things to the boys. And again, by Caden, we got over it. So we could really say like it was harder for me. And I think we were different with Caden because we were getting older and smarter. But with Jordan, it was harder. Like I wanted to push him more. And then with Nasim, I was more supportive. It was easier for me to say nice things. For Mom, it was easier for her to say nice things to Jordan. And for Nasim, it was harder for her to say nice things to Nasim because she wanted to push her more. And so it's an interesting dynamic. And especially as you're younger, those emotions play up because when you see the person that's you, right? So Jordan, I'm like, no, Jordan, you have to like, you know, and I will, like when I was younger, some thoughts like this popped in my head, but they're stupid, right? But you have to be a man, right? Like Russell Peters, be a man, right? Like you have to, so like there's points where you're like, okay, I got to teach him how to be a man, so it's different. But then you're like, no, it's really not. Like it's not that, it's different. So I think there's some scenarios like that play out. So it was easier for me to say nice things to Nasim. It was easier for Mom to say nice things to Jordan.
And I would say like when you see, and I feel this with Caden too, when you see your child's potential and then they're not like doing what you know they're capable of, or like what you think they might be doing, whether it be on the
same gender kid,
field,
you want to hit them in the back of the head and say do something different. With a different gender kid, you want to put your arm around their shoulder and be like, come on.
It's just, yeah, but I think all of it stemmed from us like looking at you guys and going, man, you're so much smarter and more capable than we are, and you can do all these things that you don't realize you can do. That I think that's where the frustration for me always was when they were kids, like growing up, because it was like I can't really get them to recognize all of those things. And so, but yeah, same gender I think was always a more, I think I always said, like, I mean, Nasim, I love Nasim, she's amazing, I love her, but I think like I always thought, oh, maybe she's
I love you too.
She's a little bit more of a daddy's girl, you know what I mean? Like, but I think she's a mix between the two of us. But I think there was always
the moral of the story is you guys got nice things told from the opposite sex parents.
Yeah.
Caden got nice things told to him from both of us. Fall apart if anybody's mean to him.
But we both love all of you.
We balanced you guys out. A little bit of trouble.
We both love all of you.
Oh, that's so funny.
So possibly along the similar line, I don't know if depending on where this goes, what is the weirdest thing each of your kids has done that you can think of?
Weirdest in what context? Can you help me out with that? Can you unpack that a little bit?
I think it's more opinion based, in your opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like just like it's hard to define weird.
I would say something, not necessarily something that you like, I wouldn't consider like you being an introvert if I think you could perceive me wanting to act or do different things on stage as weird, but I would say that that's not the vein we're going for. I would say more along the lines of like
Funny?
like something like tummy time or
Shame, shame.
Yeah, some of those types of things that maybe we originated, or maybe an event that happened, just something weird that that you wouldn't have expected, maybe in
So if I
particular.
thought more surprising, or you know, man, that's so hard in that context. But like
Jordan was walking around showing his boobs when he was in.
Nothing's changed there.
Nasim just put the makeup on, and he pulled it, and she said, "Oh, my boobs are showing," and he had no shirt on, and he said, "My boobs are showing too." Sorry, that was just a funny. That was
That's so funny.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of.
Oh, Caden, right? He would like scream and like sing really loud when he was in the bathroom.
Caden would
Like,
sing in the bathroom or fall to the ground.
Nobody could hear it in the bathroom, so public bathrooms, dentist office,
Anywhere, loud.
That's a good one. I think for you guys, there's probably not as many examples like that.
Jordan used to fall asleep everywhere. So like I think that was a weird thing. Like him laying down in the shower. I went like I was like, he's taking a
every day.
shower, and he was laying on the bottom of the tub. Like
with the shower running.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I came home from work one night at like 1 in the morning, so I was gonna go and just like give everybody kisses goodnight while they were already asleep. But
it's more for her at that point than it is for the kids.
It was for me. But I went to check in on everybody and give goodnight kisses, and Jordan was not in his bed. So then I'm like looking for him, and he's asleep on the toilet with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah, and probably so that's a good one for Jordan because he did go to sleep everywhere, which he then used to punish me when I would try to punish him. And, for Nasim, I know this has become like more of a learning moment, and I think you remember it, but I thought it was really funny the night we came home with a pizza box, and we tasked you to put the pizza in the oven or
in the fridge.
In the fridge. And you were like, and it got you had to be at least 16. You were somewhere between 14 and 16. And you opened the fridge and the box wouldn't fit, and you put it on the counter, and you proceeded to go up to your room because you said the pizza will not fit in the fridge. And I was like, no, you have to go put the pizza in the fridge. And the amount of things that you tried to move around and slam this poor pizza box into the fridge, and your mom is like whispering to me, like, just I'll go do it. I'll do it. I'm like, no, let her figure this out. And Nasim started crying, and she was mad. And I was like, and all I would say to her was put the pizza in the fridge, which then made her more angry. And so this is the difference, right? Jordan would have probably just laid down and gone to sleep and just said, I don't have to go up to my room. But like Nasim persisted and slams until, and she was a mess by the time I finally walked over and started pulling down, I think, Tupperwares and starting to put the pizza away. But
yep.
So
I just want to come back to that story and just give you the prequel a little bit.
Oh.
We were on the way home, and I was asleep in the car, so I was very tired and not wanting to put any pizzas away. So I'd like to keep in mind.
Not like I asked you to disarm a bomb. Just keep it into context.
Yeah.
Very tired. And I talk in my sleep, so who's to say if I was even awake?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, I would say Caden's thing was either the singing or like when he was really little and we would just say no. And he wouldn't even know what the thing was. It was for no reason. We would just say, Caden. And then he'd look up and we'd say no, and he'd just fall down.
I have to take all the baby stuff out because that's funny like stuff. Little stuff that's all funny.
Babies are weird.
The better thing for Caden is just like Nasim was a little bit more of a rule follower, but both you and Jordan like bent a little bit more. But with Caden, it was just hilarious because even as he got older, we're talking like 10 years old, and Pam and Pat would tell us because we had the one dessert rule at one time, right? Like one dessert a day, and he'd be at Pat and Pam's house where they have no such rule, right? But Pam would be like, Caden would be there, they'd all get donuts, and he'd be like, I can't have donuts.
I wish I could have a donut. I've already had my dessert. And Pam ran at Jordan now because she's like, Jordan just came, got his donut, and went. She's like, but Caden stuck with it. Or
Yeah.
like if he was going to play a soccer game.
It took him probably till at least 16 before that went away.
Yeah.
Up until that, because everything
But now
else,
he doesn't really do any of
he
that
was behind
anymore.
you guys on all that, because even like when he'd go to the bathroom, he was the one that insisted that mom put wipes in the bathroom
Oh,
so
yeah,
he could
he
wipe
couldn't-
himself better.
He was very upset if he didn't have his can-do
yeah.
wipes.
His clothes, he had to have a sense of his clothes matching from like
Young age.
6, 7 years old on.
Shoes matching, everything kind of.
Yeah, so there was a lot of these little like nuances with Caden
Yeah.
that stuck around a lot longer. It
If
was
he
at
had-
least 16 before he like started to learn all those bad things you guys taught him.
It was funny because even like I remember Pam
See,
saying,
that just goes to show you that we didn't teach him that because we were gone by the time he was 16.
oh no.
We weren't in there to teach him anything anymore. So that's all you
already
guys.
had your wicked ways on. I think even one of the times when he slept over at Pat and Pam's and he had a soccer game in the morning. So we kind of told him, hey, you have to go to sleep early. And he ditched everybody. They were all watching TV and he was like, I gotta go, it's bedtime. I got a game in the morning. And he left and just went into his thing. So he was always very rule driven and
Yes.
stuff like that, which was
Although
really
he is
surprising.
completely over
He
it
is
now.
over it
He is
completely.
completely
now, yes. We no longer have that power. We had it.
Speaking of Caden, one of our questions was, why did you have Caden?
Yeah,
Why
weren't
did
we enough? He was a really late addition there.
Were we not good enough for you?
What
I
what did we
more.
not provide you?
The honest answers is like I told you, there was a big long debate before Nasim. For both Caden and Jordan, we knew we wanted more kids. It wasn't as purposeful, but we specifically, like at that time, we were like, your mom wasn't on the pill until much later, so we were even using like other forms of birth control, and so we had even reached the point where we just weren't being that diligent about it. So we were like, we want to have another kid. If it happens, like, great. So the rest were just gifts from God. Like, we didn't go and say, we're going to try to have a baby. We were just like being together. And so we let the universe decide when the timing was and when that would happen. But to Mom's point, we were kind of the mindset that we would likely have 3 kids.
Well, I think it's funny because when we first, I remember when we were dating at one point. Now, obviously, like this was just talk, but Dad was like, I said we were talking about how many kids we would want if we wanted kids, all those things. And at the time, I remember you saying like 7 kids. Do you remember that?
I said I could have a lot of kids.
Yeah. So he was ready.
Oh,
But then,
shit.
like when finances came into it and we realized like, hey, it's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more difficult. Then we kind of dwindled down. So I actually wanted one more after Caden, but Dad kept saying no. And then
that was the point where I was like, yeah, that's
our financial situation is good. And we can hopefully get all these guys through school or other things.
Yeah.
And so we decided that was it after that.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
yeah.
Word. So if you could go back in time, what tradition would you start for us
What tradition?
and why? Yeah, if you could just like start your own tradition for everybody.
Or like pick up a tradition that's pretty classic, you know?
Dad
Yeah.
is
You guys
notoriously
know
a fan of
that-
tradition. He loves tradition.
Mhm.
So
I love tradition because I do all like our Christmas stuff. So I'm actually like even the Scary Cherry Night right now is really.
I
different.
love
Like,
that.
I always wanted to see you guys at least once a week or whatever. So for me, that's it's a good one to have. That's probably where I would go, just being around you guys more often and stuff and having you there.
There's no traditions I would go back and implement. There's things I can go back and wish that I could have been better and I could do differently and have opportunities to be better for myself. Beyond those things, everything else, I am more a believer that they happen organically and the frequency is determined based on how things happen, right? We didn't know, like, at least from my perspective, there was never a purposeful into, like, even with Christmas, I'm like, let's put up Christmas lights twice a year. Like, that's okay. But your mom was like, no, she's a rule follower.
I like my
That's where it comes
traditions.
from. But yeah, I wouldn't go back.
didn't we talk about a holiday tree for every season and then we were told no?
we
No,
talked.
no. I always.
Or did mom tell us no?
No. Like
I
she
think
said
that was
no.
me because I was like,
I said
I
we
just
can do
need it
whatever
for
you want.
Christmas. We did try it for Thanksgiving and Christmas one year.
Thanksgiving doesn't count because
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
pre-Christmas. That's
We
just
have our
Yeah.
tree up by
It was
Thanksgiving
It
anyways.
was a fall tree. We had it.
It doesn't
and
matter.
I
It's just
think it was perfect.
pre-Christmas.
I had two
Okay,
different decorations
A
for
Halloween
it.
tree though would be sick.
That would
Oh,
be dope.
I don't know.
Have one kind of in the shape of
You
the
could do
Nightmare
orange
Before
lights.
Christmas thing.
I
Yeah.
just have to say, like, Dad wants the traditions to happen organically. I really have no problem making you all come over, even if you don't want to.
I mean,
it doesn't have to be organic for me. That's too organic. I'm gonna bring you all over and make you.
Dad, you wouldn't
Mush.
decide to go back and teach us about Santa Claus?
Nope.
Actually, I told Taylor I didn't want to teach any if we ever had kids that I don't want to tell them Santa Claus, and he was like, "What?
I wouldn't either.
Why do you? What don't you like about fun?"
I don't find
was
it.
like,
I don't find it more or less fun.
Dishonest.
Right. I don't know. I feel like as a parent, I want the credit for giving them gifts, not freaking Santa Claus.
Well, I think there's that. Even just the value of like getting those from the people that love you and
Right.
stuff like that, I think helps.
Well, I think for
I think that's a
us,
good
like
thing.
even the holiday season, like I'm counting Thanksgiving and Christmas as that seasonal time of just being with
Which is why
family
the Thanksgiving treat doesn't count.
whatever, but it's counted as family time and family, so for me, it was always like a way of just giving and celebrating and spending time with you guys and doing things together, like making cookies or whatever it be,
Yeah.
Right.
So Santa Claus really wasn't part of that for us anyway. It was more about just being, family and spending our time together and having that.
Yeah, that's cool. I had a question. I was thinking, so have you been together longer than any of your children have been alive?
Yes, obviously.
Think about that question for a second.
No, we met after Nasim was born.
We're good though. Yes.
So that question's actually way funnier than it sounds, even because I asked that question completely
To me.
honestly to Nasim.
Serious?
I was sleep deprived. I asked Nasim if they've been together longer than any of us have been alive. Fully seriously. And I was like, that is dumb. Why did I even
And
ask
I was
that?
even quiet for a second. I was like, yes. And he's like,
And so I was like,
oh,
we have to add that to the
oh,
question
no.
list because that just.
and mind you, then he told Inaya that, and she was like, huh?
I was like, what? No.
And I messaged me because we were both working on the file for our interview bracketing and stuff, and I was like, I don't understand this question.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And so then we made her ask it.
Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our next question. Now that you guys have both graduated college, I don't know that there's anyone who's watching this that doesn't know, but they've both recently graduated college. My dad graduated from Pepperdine, and my mom went to Bellevue College and did the Rad Tech program. What is your advice for people thinking of attending school later in life? Do you think they should do it? What challenges came that you guys weren't expecting? Stuff like that.
I think, well, number one, I think my advice is you should always follow kind of that point. I think the best advice I can give, and I've said this to people actually even at work that have been contemplating this, like there's never a good time. There's never going to be a good time. I think if at some point you've reached a decision that going back to school is something you want to go do, just go and you'll figure out how to structure everything around it to make it be successful. And I think the second part of the advice, and the reason I'd say do that sooner rather than later, is I am glad that I got that done, and I'm really happy that I did, and I had a wonderful experience, and I learned a ton. But I was surprised at like how, and who knows if I was younger, but I can tell you like it was the amount of reading that I had to do, the amount of writing I had to do, even some of the group exercises, I think I would have gotten more out of them when I was younger, and I think it would have been a little bit easier as I was younger. That doesn't mean that as you get older, you shouldn't go through that piece. I just go like, man, like I think there's opportunities to leverage points in your life. The sooner you do it, the better off you are. The more you can use it, the more you can apply it. And I think even just from a physical energy perspective and a mental energy perspective, there are some advantages to doing that younger. Younger could mean in your 40s instead of your 50s. It could mean in your 30s instead of your 40s. It could mean in your 50s instead of your 60s. Doesn't matter, which is why I say when you make the decision, go all in. Because there'll never be a good time, a better time. The right time is just like, go do it. Go figure it out and start immediately once you've made the decision.
Yeah, I think I always think like there's just no bad time to do it, in my opinion. I mean, if you're ready to make a change or do something different, like I'm just like, go do it. You know what I mean? Like, and as you get older, I think there's certain positive things that you get from it, whereas like you're maybe more a little bit more invested, you're ready to actually study or learn or do these things, whereas sometimes when somebody's right out of school, it's a little bit harder, I think. But it's harder in the way that maybe you're not quite there. You know, a lot of times when people are younger, they don't always know what they want to do and things like that. So I think having a little bit of age and knowing kind of a little bit more about what I wanted or what, you know, was good. I don't know if I would have done it when you guys were younger, just because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I really wanted to be there for you guys. And so I don't know if I would have been able to make it work. Like I see some people who have kids who are or pregnant or have really young kids who are doing a lot of this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know how they're managing it. But so I think for me, going at an older time was better for me. But so I would just always say, if you're ready to make that change or you're interested in doing something different, like I would just go all in too. You know.
Do you have any kind of along those lines? Do you have any advice for people in order to kind of set themselves up for success later in life? I think both of you have had a lot of success in your different roles and careers, and so just out of curiosity, anything that you
It's
like
so
to pass
broad.
down?
It's hard to give offer any specific advice. I think what's most important is it goes back to just knowing yourself. I just don't think you ever reach a point. I don't think you ever reach a point that you should
Take
stop
notes.
trying to get to know yourself. You're going to change throughout your life. So I think every single time I've gone and set goals for myself or sat down to take the time to write down the things that I want to go do, it has been an extreme benefit for me. So I think like the best advice is it's just a never stopping exercise to sit down, check in with yourself, think about the things you want to go do, write down your goals, and then find a way to make them happen. And you can be as specific as you want to be, and you can be as high level as you want to be, as long as you take the time to make sure that those things resonate with you and that you always have some sort of like a target or goal. Or it could be, again, super specific, or it could be fairly vague. You'll get benefit where people will talk to you all the time. People will say, you have to be super specific. You have to say you want to be a CEO by 50. Well, okay, maybe like if that works for you, great. Or you could just say like, you know, you want to have a job you love. Okay, great, then do that. But I think it just comes from always checking in with yourself and knowing like, hey, how do I ask myself what I want? How does it resonate with me? How do I always have a line of sight? I think some of the best things we were able to accomplish together were at different points. So like even, you know, we rented most of our lives. We're in an apartment mostly. By the time we rented a house, it was mostly because your mom was pushing to get a house. And then at one point she got really like, it became really important to her for wanting to own a house. And so then it by proxy became important for me. And so there was like, it was very easy to be like, okay, we got to do whatever we need to get into a position to where we can figure out a way to buy a house. And having some of those things and conversations to always find those things out just for you, your family, I think it's invaluable.
Yeah. I think having like, I mean, for us, I think going back to school was it was always going to happen. Like we always planned it, no matter how late, like we had to do it, we were going to do it. I don't know what, like both of us were, a degree just really was important to us, having something there. I was kind of like, you know what, even if I never ever use the rad tech degree or I don't do anything with it, I'm going to go do what I always said I was going to do. So I kind of knew, even if it was 20 years in the making or whatever, that I was going to do that, and Dad too. But having a supportive partner, which we obviously, not everybody who's going back to school later in life has a partner, so they have to make those decisions on their own. But for me, having Dad was really critical to success, because he believed in me probably a lot more than I believed in myself. He talked me down from ledge pretty much every day when I was driving into school and stuff, because it was really rough for me, you know, going back and being older and trying to get all that done, when a lot of the stuff that I was doing came easier to the younger people in the class. I thought, you know, there were a lot of things that, even with the technical side of everything, it was a bit easier for a younger person to pick that up. Took me a lot more times to figure it out, you know, so it felt very challenging. But having like a really supportive partner and somebody who was kind of going through it with you, and you know, all of that is a good way of having success, I think, you know. So if you do have somebody, you know, or if they choose to go back, being the supportive partner is important, you know. But putting down your goals, I think it takes time sometimes to figure out what you want. Like, I don't know if radiology was always like, yes, I always wanted to do something in healthcare though, because I was like, all right, I just am a caretaker by nature, I think. So I always felt like something like that would be good for me. But, you know, I had no idea for sure. I think just getting a plan and knowing that if you have the goal, I think, like, I don't know. I feel like, and the motivation and the will to do something different for yourself, I think you'll make it happen.
Yeah. So what is an accomplishment from like your early life, like your teens and your 20s, that you're like particularly proud of?
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped your question. Oh no, I didn't. Never mind.
You're good. I was like, what?
You?
A particular accomplishment from our teens?
Yeah, like even your early life, like in your 20s, or you know. I know one. Nasim.
Boo.
And Jordan, you know, they're not accomplished. They are who they are.
I wouldn't call a child an accomplishment.
The person we created. She's her own person.
Like that. That's where I'm trying to like say. So what's the gist? I think that's typically an emotional answer that you give. But I mean, I think the gist of the answer is, if you're asking, what did we do in that time frame that we felt was an accomplishment, I think the best thing, our teen years through our early 20s, we used to have lots of conversations where we talked about it today. Your mom bought
oh my God,
a Tumi suitcase, and we went to Bellevue Mall. We tried to order a suitcase like mine from away, and we had some shipping issues or whatever, and your mom wanted a nicer carry-on for when we would travel. So we went to the Tumi store.
I felt like I
and
shouldn't have.
Tumis are expensive, but I was like, okay, we're gonna have the suitcase for a while. You want a better carry-on?
It's my carry-on.
And, so it was like $800, right? So that's like an expensive suitcase.
I'm not letting anybody use it.
We went and bought it, and so we were just walking out, and she made the comment, but like the way I'll put it into context, we couldn't fathom in the early part of our life dropping that much money. Like we lived paycheck to paycheck, but not even paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah,
'Cause there was
sometimes
times
it
where
was we
were
didn't
like,
have anything.
there were
We don't
times where
know.
we literally, like, if you watch the beginning of Big Lebowski and he's writing a check for $1.66 because he's buying some half and half or whatever. Like there were times where we got $5 till paydays, so we can get 2 Whoppers today and we can get 2 Whoppers tomorrow for dinner, and that's what we'll have to figure out. And there were times where we were like, rent's going to be due in 2 weeks and we're not sure how we're going to pay for rent and when can we do it. And same thing with car payments and utility bills. And there were so many times where we were like, man, I feel like if we could just get ahead a little bit, if we could just get a little bit of help, it'd be
Just
so
a
much.
little leg up.
It would just help us so much. I think it's one of the reasons why we've always wanted to help all of you guys and everybody else, so you guys can be in a different situation, hopefully, and you can feel a little different, because at that time we didn't have anybody. So I'll connect it back to that question of, I think there would have been times where I think we could have given up, and by giving up, like maybe we were just like, hey, let's go our separate ways. It could have been like, hey, let's go down a negative path. Like, right? We could have tried to like found shady ways to make. I was hanging out with people that were ripping off places, or ripping off like even the places that they worked. They would, because we'd have to drop off bank deposits, right? So they would get a friend to like beat the shit out of them just so they could say the bank deposit got stolen, but they were splitting the money. You know what I mean? We had friends that were drug dealers, like that sold drugs. So I mean, like there were things that we could have done, and instead we kind of chose, like John, her sister's husband, the person, I don't know, you probably won't meet John and Inaya, but her sister Marie you'll probably meet. Her husband used to own a moving business. So I always had someone around, whether that was Chodomamu, right, my uncle, or family that had businesses, that I was like, okay, I'm going to spend the weekend moving furniture, but okay, we need the money, right? Or I'm going to go do something different. So I think it would have been not necessarily easier, but I think it would have been, there were some times that were just really hard, where sometimes you were just like, man, like, I didn't think we'd ever be out of that phase. I thought we were going to be in that phase forever. And so to not be in that phase is a very different feeling. It's obviously a blessing from God that we're very thankful for, to be in a different spot. But I think that's probably from a teens and 20s, when you're most apt to do things that could be shady or could cross the line, to have the ability to say, hey, no, this too shall pass. And I think like, you can go through it. And I also wouldn't change any of it, because I think some of those things taught me some invaluable lessons. So probably the accomplishment that I'm the most proud of is that we figured it out. Like we found a way to make it work. Sometimes we didn't have rent, but we never got thrown out. Like we found other ways to make it work, to find a way to get rent money. There were times where I did 3 or 4 jobs at a time, but we figured it out. And I think some of those things, they feel satisfying now, but they were hard
to go through. Yeah. I think like, and not to knock any of the family members, if anybody does watch this, but there were times, like I just remember, even, you know, when he was working at the rug store and things like that. And I was like, man, you know, when it's bad, it's really bad, and it's just hard to do that. And I was so much of the mindset that like, it's just better to go work an hourly paying job that we're going to know exactly like how much you're going to make per week or whatever. Even if it's less than that, at least we know we're getting a consistent paycheck. I remember that was a big conversation.
Working for a family business, and what she's implying is working for a family business, sometimes there was no money.
That's why I said if it was bad, it was bad for everyone, and it was really hard.
Right? And everybody struggled their way through it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I didn't have that.
But so I think like that part, I was like, okay, making some of those decisions were probably had a big impact, obviously, on our futures and stuff. And I always was just like, I think I always felt like he could do anything that he wanted. So if he went out and started doing something, you know, he could hopefully grow with a company. It's not as easy to do that in a family business and stuff, you know?
Right.
So I was just like, let's just do some of that. But I agree. Like, I mean, today, even when we were leaving, and I was just saying, man, it's so weird like that. We just put this money on that we spent that. And I felt kind of guilty even doing it because I was like, okay, it's a bit frivolous and whatever. But at the end of the day, there was times when we didn't have, I mean, it was just a much harder situation. So I think that is a big accomplishment. And even making some of, I would say, like, for me, I mean, there's different choices that had to be made, even just, you know, drug and alcohol abuse was a problem in my family, and something that I saw a lot of. So I would say on a personal level, I mean, just the fact that I never really ever went down that path, I think I could have easily been, you know, doing the same thing that some of my family members were doing. You know, it's easy to go with
not just family members, every single one of our friends.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, it's easier to go with the grain, right? Like you're going with everybody else than to do something different. And sometimes that was a hard road to travel too, just because even though you are only doing it because you want to do, you know, have a little bit of a different life, or you're trying to provide your kids with a different situation or whatever. That was our reason. Not everybody always sees it that way. And a lot of times it can be, it turns into a situation where people think you think you're better than they all are and stuff like that. When, you know, more than anything, it was only about, okay, I'm only thinking of my family and my kids and what kind of life I want them to have. And that was it. So getting kind of past all of that and being able to just kind of be where we are, to me, is a success too, you know.
Perfect. Nasim and Inaya, I was thinking we could skip over to the fun stuff, move past the questions, that way we can kind of keep the ball rolling.
I'm down.
We had some more stereotypical interview questions.
Had no
like
idea this was going to last for this long.
No, this is episode 1, so we had no idea, and we way over prepared.
So when Jordan and I were writing it, he was like, I don't know if we're gonna have enough, and I was like, don't worry, Mom will fill in.
I mean, even Dad.
That's true.
Added a lot.
That fills in.
Yep.
But so we're going to move on to our more fun questions. Obviously, the previous questions were a lot more about us, as well as anyone else who wants to watch, kind of seeing more who you guys are, where you guys came from, stuff like that, because I think we all acknowledge the amazing accomplishments and different feats of not only talent, but just perseverance that you guys have displayed among the years. So it's really interesting to bring that to light for people who may not know you guys personally or not know exactly where you guys came from and stuff like that. But the second half of the interview is kind of more of the fun part, where we're going to have a little bit more interesting questions for your guys' opinion and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and start with the first question, which is, in your heads, imagine we're in a zombie apocalypse scenario, which we talk about a lot as a family.
Yes.
We want you guys to rate your close family members. We'll say people in Washington, just so that that's the people you realistically be with. In the order of most likely to survive to dead AF for sure.
I'd like to also throw out there, if you think they're gonna die, tell us when. Like, how deep into the apocalypse are we? Is this day 1 or are they patients?
Oh. Oh,
You're good.
Okay. Hold on.
Hold on 1 second.
Hold on. Wait.
Yikes! Technical difficulties.
Zombie apocalypse.
Oh.
Okay.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, we can hear and
see
see you.
and hear you.
I can hear
You
them.
should. Let's see.
Oh no!
She can't hear us?
Can you hear me?
Hear us yet?
We can
We can
hear you.
you.
We can hear you.
They can hear us,
Okay.
but we can't hear you.
Please hold.
Hold on 1 second.
We gotta just mouth stuff when they come back on. just to still mess with them.
I'm
Just
hungry.
gotta
now.
act
What are
like
you
you know.
eating, Nasim? Well,
Taylor has made a lovely chicken chipotle bowl.
Here we
for you.
are.
oh, yay! I'm hungry
What is
now.
that?
I haven't had dinner yet.
Taylor made a chicken chipotle
Hungry.
bowl.
Oh.
We have
Yummy.
like a creamy chipotle sauce on top.
Mm.
Crispy grilled chicken. There's some tomatoes in there, some grilled onions, some sweet potatoes, and rice.
Mm.
And I think that's all of it.
Damn, that
What
sounds
happened to
delicious.
Jordan?
Huh?
I said, what happened to Jordan?
I think he just said he'd be right back while you were dealing with.
Sorry, I was peeing.
Oh, there we go.
Can you guys hear us now?
We can hear you now.
I know. So, yeah, that's basically the question, and then I'll go ahead and tack on the other part since we're still kind of catching back up. I think we also wanted to nail down your guys' zombie killing song.
Oh, God.
Zombie killing song. So first, the rating of the people. You wanted us to rate who's going to die first?
Well, in the order of most likely to survive to the most likely to die. So start with the people who you think would do the best in the zombie apocalypse, and then end with the people you think are going to do the worst.
Go ahead. You go first.
Geez. So who is this? Our two families?
Right. The families in Washington. We'll stick with that. That way, it's not too long of a list.
Unless you have anybody you want to call out.
Yeah, if you want to call out anyone, you can do that
You
too.
feel free.
We can do this together. We know. Unfortunately, Inaya, your dad's in trouble.
He's in trouble. He might be going down with his gout. I'm sorry, but looking at your mom, I think she's close. She might be with him only because she gets scared of all that stuff, and she
That's
might
gonna
not
help
be.
her. She's gonna be full of adrenaline. We're gonna be struggling to keep up with
Maybe
her.
she'll run.
That's true. She's
Although
good.
his dad and his broken arm and his gout situation,
He's gonna be in trouble. He's gonna have to do a squat. He's gonna have to do a full-on squat.
He's going
down. Have to make it.
That's true.
I would say he's probably at the bottom of the
list long as
right now.
As long as he plans ahead, he might be okay. All I'm saying is, at some point in the zombie apocalypse, you should remember from what was the movie with
Zombieland with the rules.
Zombieland, yeah, with the rules, right? Like cardio. At some point, he's gonna have to outrun zombies, and then that's when he gets in trouble. So, I think I would sort of lean like if he's going down first.
Yeah, I agree.
He's also the only one with a firearm right now.
That's true.
All of us best with the gun. So, if we could get him as a sniper somewhere to help us, then we might you're gonna have to outrun someone at some point.
If it's a moving,
gonna be a problem.
getting himself away from them, yeah.
Especially as a sniper, you're trying to strand him somewhere where he's
Well,
gonna get
we can put him on the roof like Merle.
Yeah, because it's not like Twinkies never go bad. So he's gonna have to eat some stuff that he's gonna have a lot of negative reactions to.
That's true.
That's bad.
And he can't use his arm to shoot.
Yeah. So.
Oh.
So,
yeah, my dad is screwed.
I hope he's okay with being left behind if he has a flare up.
I know.
I don't think it's fair to be like, hold on, guys.
Sorry, Dad.
Slow down.
No.
Right.
True.
Wait for me.
Okay. So
I feel like he'd be a good strategist, but then past
just
that.
have to establish who's going first. Was there a second part of that question?
No, it was to rate the most likely to survive to the most
Like,
likely to die.
All of us.
Most likely to survive?
So shots fired at Uncle Ifty. He's dead for sure.
Yeah.
Uncle
Yeah.
Ifty's gone.
I would say, no, you don't think
Sorry, Dad.
surviving?
I don't think so.
Gosh.
I told you, Jordan's gonna be Danny McBride. He's gonna be at the end of the apocalypse like, there are no rules. Everything is chaos. Check out my Channing Tatum.
I think like after Iffy, I think everybody else is kind of somewhere
We're
close
all
to
in
equal
a little
footing
bit of trouble.
because we
Right.
all have some of the same deficiencies. I have 0 firearms, so from that perspective, if I'm stuck here, Like, right, if it starts here and I got to fight my way through someone, I'm not getting very far.
I might not be able to run that for that long. Endurance
Should
might be fun for me, but if I take Uncle Iffy out, because I know like I can run faster than him, he's still
Mom's gonna trip him.
I'm not gonna take him out, but I just out currently. That may not last if his flare up is
Oh,
then I might be in
I don't know.
trouble.
Like, I can
It's a
only
hard
go,
situation
I can only
because
go as fast as she can run.
So,
Dad's got a stick. He's gonna be pushing me in a shopping cart.
so the only thing you guys know for sure is that Uncle Iffy's dead.
Well, I think we're
in
just
his
saying.
in
If
his
we had to
current
vote,
situation, we
I
would
think he's
say
going
he's
down
going
first.
down.
That's fair. That's fair.
Unless Auntie Martha throws him in a shopping cart and runs with him.
And then,
maybe not.
as for you guys'
And
zombie
for
killing
both,
songs,
because then both Iffy and Inayas are done because they're going to debate about the right way to push the cart,
Yeah.
and they're not going to make it.
It could be, a struggle. I won't debate. I'll just tell him run. So I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think it would be a challenge for everybody somewhat. We all
Right.
have problems.
My zombie song hasn't changed. There's lots of good ones, but it would be Tom Petty. I won't back down.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know. I think I like the aggressive songs too. So I'm like trying to think of either a Beast.
Ludicrous.
Yeah. Or
Way.
or Move. Yeah. Those are my songs. Because I gotta pump myself up.
Right. Yeah, you got to get amped.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's so true.
Yeah,
Anytime.
Slow song when you're trying to like run and get away.
What's that song? I like that one. Ah.
Oh,
That's a good one. I like that too. I don't know what it is.
It's Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
That's a good one though.
that's a good one. Yeah.
All right, Nasim.
What about one? Can you tell us one true crime that happened when you guys were kids? Something.
One true crime.
True crime story. No, just something you remember. It could be just something that you like remember seeing on the news and being that just like stuck out to you.
It's like, oh my god, wait, wasn't Ted Bundy?
No,
Like-
the most significant thing is September 11th. Like, I was getting ready and we were getting up and I was supposed to be going to work, and I just remember having a surreal moment where I think somebody called your mom. I don't remember if text messaging was a thing at that point or something. If somebody called
might have
and
called
somebody
me.
was like, "What?
And
What
we were
happened?"
just like,
and
what?
then
And we turned the TV on right
your
away.
mom was like, someone just like crashed a plane in New York, and we were like, what's going on? And then we were flipping on the TV and we had to watch live coverage because it wasn't as easy to jump on
YouTube.
We were watching TV. Yeah, we
because we
turned
were
on the
Albuquerque,
TV
so at
and we
that
had
point
to
you
watch
couldn't
like
Google it or you couldn't
local-
jump on phones the way you can
Yeah.
now. It wasn't that easy, right? So we had to turn on the news and we had to catch live footage, and so just watching all of that happen, and then I drove to work as that was going on. I just remember because I'd lived in New York for a couple of years, like I said earlier, right? And we went up to the World Trade Center. We'd been there, and I lived in New York for a couple of years, and as an American, like, right, it was a very surreal moment of like, holy shit, what just happened? And so certainly one of the biggest like things to happen in our lifetime, and certainly like the closest thing to anything like that, right? Like the Oklahoma City bombing.
That was
Timothy
in.
McVeigh,
We
like,
were in. We were in
it was a
Vegas
big
when
deal.
that
The
happened.
space shuttle exploding, like we saw those things happen, but the 9/11 was the one that I just remember, and I even like remember driving to work and just being like just emotional about all the stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember like the space shuttle thing when I was. That's not a crime, but I was in sixth
The
grade. What
other-
grade were you in when that happened? Sixth or
The
seventh
space,
grade?
oh yeah, I don't
Seventh
know,
or eighth.
something like that, yeah.
I think I was in sixth grade and I was sitting in my science class and we were watching live as the space shuttle was launching, and then it exploded, and it was such a huge thing because there was a teacher who was on board. Yeah, she got to
a free ride, got
ride
to train
with
as an
them.
astronaut.
So she
super
trained
exciting.
and did
Sarah
all this
Connor.
stuff, and
Right? No,
I don't know.
that's
I
From
don't
your
Sarah
school?
Connor's Terminator.
like Terminator. She couldn't do that.
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but I remember she wasn't from my school, but she was just a teacher, and it was a big deal. And it was going to be this shuttle launch, and everybody, like I said, all of our classrooms were watching it. We were watching it at school, and then it blew up as it was taking off
Something
and
that
stuff. It was insane.
might be interesting for you guys. I can't remember what it's called on Netflix, but have you seen the documentary about? I think it's something like the New York Five or something like that, or the what's the famous Central Park Five or something like that.
Oh yeah, Central Park 5.
We were living in New York when that happened, and it was a big deal. Like it was in all the news stories, and this young lady executive was jogging in Central Park, and she got beaten and raped and murdered, and so that everybody was going crazy over, oh my God, like what happened? And then these 5, I think all 5 were African American kids were blamed, and so then people lost their mind.
Oh.
I'm like, there was certainly a lot of racial tension, and so that all happened, and you had to wait until all this time later to find out they were innocent. And I remember at the time thinking like, why is this lady jogging at 4 a.m.? And now my perspective on that has changed, right? Because you shouldn't be able to jog at 4 a.m. But it was a horrible story. It was crazy to be there for both parts of it, where I remember going through it happening and everybody getting really upset about it, and then going back now and going, they're innocent. And then we were also Rodney King was the other one.
Oh, I was going to say something else.
Oh, Rodney King was the other one. Was a black man that was beaten by, like, was it like 20 cops, 15 cops?
Oh my God!
Beat the crap out of him. Even
they
after he
got
kind of
footage,
had his
right?
hands up. That was the first time that you got it on video, and then those cops got off, and they were deemed innocent even after all of that. And there was a lot of racial tension then too. That was when NWA was pretty big, and they were just coming out, and I was coming in LA, and there was a lot of people that went from LA to Albuquerque. So a lot of that stuff.
We lived in Vegas so we were driving the strip down the strip, and when Tupac got shot and killed in Vegas, we just happened to be passing by, and there was a car that was stopped on the opposite side of the strip that we were. So we were passing it, and there was somebody laying on the road, and we had no idea who it was, but the body was down. The driver's door was open, I think, and
found out it was
we got
Tupac.
back, and then the next.
So are you then affirming that he is in fact gone, or?
Well, we saw see, but the word was that was Tupac.
Oh my God!
On the strip, and so we saw his body covered. So we think it was his body. We don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was a big thing that happened when we were really young.
Do we need to let Inaya go get food? Do we need to do a second session?
I'm good.
It's actually a nice question too.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wait, maybe Mom had something else to add?
No, I'll go. You're good.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, this is very, just because we've been doing so many scary cherry nights. But what is your favorite scary movie?
I don't know. I have a hard time because, to be honest, I'm not a scary movie person. I don't always like those. I tend to like comedy and things like that, or love stories, or even dramas a little bit more than scary personally. But so I'm trying to think of like what would my favorite be. It's really hard. I don't know. I think seeing some of the things that we've seen over the last few weeks with you guys, I would just say probably out of all of those, I would go with like this whole Conjuring series so far has been a lot better than I expected. So that's probably my favorite of what we've been watching.
Yeah, I was just telling your mom The Nun was a much better movie. I know, Nasim, you said you didn't like it when you saw it at the theaters, but I was expecting something a little bit more like jump scare and a little bit more like not as good a story. Like I just thought the story was good. I thought the actors were good.
Frenchie.
Yeah.
Frenchie.
I liked Frenchie when I first saw it.
I love Frenchie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be too.
Same.
Horror is not my favorite genre either, but the two movies that I'll pick, and I'm surprised your mom didn't say Poltergeist, because for her, Poltergeist just scared the crap out of her
scare me.
when she was
That's
younger.
why I don't consider it a favorite.
But like, I think for me, the two I would pick are American Werewolf in London and The Omen. And those two, because when I first saw American Werewolf in London, I think I was 8, and I lived in New York, and I went to a friend's house, and he was like, "Let's watch this movie." And I just remember being terrified, and the scene where he changes into the wolf and everything. I just remember being like, "Oh my God, this is so scary!" And now when you go watch that movie, it's actually really campy and kind of funny. But when I was younger, I was like, "This is so scary." And then Omen, because that was at a time where like the whole devil thing and that type of spiritual
Satanic panic.
satanic stuff. It was a deal when we were in Albuquerque. There was a rumor of a Satanist group that had a satanic church next to my middle school, and a lot of people were like that. So like there was a bunch of like rumors about that type of stuff. So it seemed to be a little bit prevalent, like your mom said. Like there was a lot of church stuff going on. There was a lot of people talking about the rapture for whatever reason when we were around that time. And so The Omen was one of the movies that was like just sufficiently like creepy and scary, and just hit a nerve with me. So, and I still think both of them were well done enough. There's enough nostalgic sort of pleasure associated with them that I like them both, and both those movies I enjoy watching. So they're not probably the best movies, but I just think
it's funny because for me, like the thing Tiffany said about like speaking it into like reality,
yeah.
like it's funny because I think that's why I'm like Poltergeist isn't mine, just because I'm like all those people died. I feel like there is some weird sketchy thing with it.
Yeah,
so
Mom thinks it's cursed.
The scary.
See, I was just surprised you didn't pick. I thought you were going to pick Tucker and Dale versus Evil because it's kind of right on that cusp of comedy and
me or
scary.
Dad?
You, I thought you were.
Yeah,
because
that was one I couldn't even really think of it. I couldn't remember that one. But
that was such a good one.
I was just thinking if I'm only going in the like horror film, then I'm gonna have to go like scary movie wise. Those are the ones I like.
I would say Tucker and Dale versus Evil is still a scary movie.
It really is good.
There's a lot of there are too many fatalities for it to be considered not a scary movie.
Yep.
I think
agree.
I think we should probably skip a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll keep it on brand with the Scary Cherry Night. So Nasim, if you wanna maybe skip the next two and go on to the
Okay.
How did you guys start your scary movie night with like I know you guys used to do it when we were younger.
Maybe we should
and then
give
where
some...
did like the cherry pie and everything come into play?
So background for anyone who's not aware, Scary Cherry Night's a thing we've been doing recently. We get together on Saturdays and we pick horror movies and eat desserts. It's traditionally cherry pie, but it's just desserts at this point.
We should get another cherry pie now.
I'm totally down for another cherry pie.
And then we also, like kind of rope in fitness because we're all trying to get each other more into fitness, right? So we all have Fitbits and we kind of have step contests every work week, and whoever has the best positive or minus, best plus minus score gets to pick the movie.
So Scary Cherry actually was mine and Maneza's thing because whenever I would visit or she would visit us, typically Dad and Uncle, if he used to go play racquetball a lot, they would always go and play kind of late. And so we were just like, okay, let's watch a movie. And we both always loved this Marie Callender's cherry pie and vanilla ice cream. So every time we would visit, that was our thing. Like if I was there or she was here, we would just pick a movie. And then after we put all the kids to sleep, we would watch our movie and have cherry pie.
That's awesome.
Not you guys didn't know about it, but we would have our cherry pie and so we didn't call it Scary Cherry until like we incorporated all of you guys. But that was how it started.
That always wanted to watch
Manessa always wanted to watch the scary movies. Now she's a big old coward.
I know.
But that's how we end up watching them because it was never really my favorite, honestly.
We finally watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that broke Manessa. After that movie,
that one scared both of us, and we were both.
It broke temporarily because then when I was in high school, we did do a couple Scary Cherry Nights of Paranormal Activity. We watched I Know Who Killed Me with Lindsay Lohan, which was terrible, and then Auntie Manessa wanted to watch Teeth.
I didn't watch Teeth with you guys, I don't think, but I did watch the others. But we tried.
Do you know what Teeth is?
Jordan
No.
Your mom wanted to watch a movie about a girl who's got teeth in a particular area.
Oh, in her vagina. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's the movie.
Hey, that I want to watch that. That sounds good.
Like mother, like daughter.
It just sounds good because it's so stupid sounding. But it
Um,
sounds good.
yeah, and then staying on par with the horror movies, we wanted you guys to each pick a horror movie villain you guys think you could beat, whether it's mentally or physically or however you think you could beat it. A horror movie villain you think you could win against.
A horror movie villain. I'm like trying to think of something that's real, so I'm like maybe Scream, maybe that Scream guy.
Ghostface?
Yeah, I think I might be smarter than him, so I might be able to
Outwit him?
Yeah, but when it comes to like the demons and ghosts and things like that, I don't know. I might not be able to beat those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has to be a live person, I think.
Right.
What about Freddy Krueger?
What about the Scranton Strangler?
I like to sleep and your dreams, and I'm like,
I would rather fight Jason than Freddy.
I was just curious.
Jason, at least I could fight in real life.
I don't think I could because the sleeping is a problem.
I could fight early Freddy, who you just had to ignore.
There was a show called Hellraiser.
I don't believe in you.
What about Pennywise? Because you just have to be like, you're not real.
Yeah, but Pennywise would destroy
You
me.
ever watched the
That's true.
Sleepaway Camp series?
Which one?
Which one?
Sleepaway Camp.
Mm-mm.
You can watch that on a camping trip that I went on a long time ago, but the movie's terrible, but it's a camping movie. The first premise of the first movie is there's this girl and her brother, girl and I think a friend from school, and they're both like a little socially awkward, and a bunch of the kids start dying. Turns out that the girl is the one that kills everybody because she's not really a girl. Her mom, when she was born, a boy, was like, I really wanted a girl, and so raised her as a girl and confused the heck out of this poor person. And then this person lost it and then went on a killing spree. I could totally kill her because they make a whole movie about it, the whole series about it, and I'm like, oh Lord, come on.
That's horrible because we don't even know who that is. Like none of us know who he's killing.
Wait, she had a penis, but she just thought she was a girl.
Yeah,
She was raised a girl.
Did like a girl because her mom coerced
That's how
her
she
from the
raised
point that
her.
she was younger.
Oh.
yeah.
That's fair. Anaya, do you want to go with the next one?
Oh, I know my answer. But what horror movie monster would you never want chasing you?
What horror movie monster?
Would you never watch?
Yeah.
Or you know your answer?
Let's hear
The Nun, Valak. I would.
You should maybe examine that statement. I know my answer, but
What? I know.
What is yours?
Oh yeah, what is your answer?
what horror movie villain do you not want facing us?
Right.
Like I said, I don't even know if I have one, but I think all of these evil
All
spirits-
the demons.
All the
Yeah, I'm
demons.
like all the demons are a little
The
bit.
Nun would.
If it's a
I like
legitimate monster,
One, like a super creepy old person after me because I don't know if I would be able to like take them. I mean, I could take them out.
disagree.
But then it's like I don't know.
I wouldn't
But
want
like
the It Follows monster after me.
Oh.
It'd be easy to beat, but like the whole constantly looking over my shoulder thing, I think would drive me into insanity.
Yeah.
Although I think I feel like that monster is blown out of proportion. With any monster you're looking over your shoulder, even with the nun, you're in an abbey. There's this crazy nun, or you're not in the abbey and you're in the house. Like it doesn't matter. If it's a monster, you're looking over your shoulder because there's monsters in your house.
True, but I feel like I'd be questioning everything if I was being followed by the It Follows thing
Yeah.
because I don't know what it looks like or who
You
it
should
is.
have abstained anyway.
And do you stick to
Hey.
horror genre?
What'd you say?
You stick to the horror genre?
Yeah, that's what we're sticking with.
Is Alien and Predator, are they horror?
Yeah.
I think you can count it. Yeah.
Those are the two, right? Either Predator or Alien, and Alien's probably worse because you not only do they get you like getting killed by an alien would be terrible, and also having the alien come out of you would be terrible. So I
Oh.
think the alien from the movie Alien, like that's the thing I don't want coming to chase me.
Right. I would rather have Predator chase me too, because I feel like he would kill me, but he'd make it somewhat quick. I'd get my spine ripped out or something.
It might skin you alive,
That's fair.
and you might die slowly.
But if you cover yourself in mud, I think you're okay.
The thermal, yeah, you block
See,
the
I
thermal.
think for me, it's stuff like The Thing, like anything that can kind of disguise itself as people that I know. And
Lots, It Follows could do that.
Well, I know it can. I don't care. That one doesn't do much more than just follow. If it's
It
something
snapped that one girl's leg backwards.
I don't care.
Oh.
No, something that's gonna like actually chase and stuff like that. Like, and even like you don't really know what to expect. Like I love The Thing. The Thing is such a good movie, and so I think that's one that I'm like, you don't really know who's turned until it's too late, and then you get wrecked by it, and then you're turned.
Oh.
You know what else would suck is 28 Days Later Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's skip to another one. Do you want to do the next one, Nasim, or do you want to skip to the next one, the one after that?
Walk.
Skip it.
Okay. We'll skip the next one too. Do you want to just skip to the music video?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, Nasim.
Okay.
We have a video that we're going to show you guys, and we want to just get your reaction and your opinions on.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be interesting. I love Chachi went through that the entire thing. That was the best.
So, what do you guys think of the new age music?
That's the worst.
It's great, right?
It's different than Nicki Minaj with Anaconda, or
That's true.
That's how I feel.
Also on Mom, like with Two Live Crew, that song was
Yeah, there's some
banned
of
when
them,
it
but
came
that's
out,
what,
right?
yeah, but I'm like, I am not necessarily going to listen to any of those songs.
I mean, even if you go back to like old school Ice Cube, like No Vaseline and stuff like that, it was all kind of blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like this music video went the extra mile with the nipple fountains and butt statues.
Yeah. Oh,
I just think it's a little bit like there's just an element of it's almost satirical.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think Cardi B's funny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
she's so.
Called it Dasani.
I know.
Like, whoa.
I thought the same thing when there's a song she did with Bruno Mars, and the rap she does is super like similar in that sense, right? So I'm just like, I think it's fine. I don't necessarily like that song, even like when it's on the radio. I don't necessarily like to sing along with it. You know what I mean? I find the videos I think funnier.
You heard that song before?
Yeah, and I with me.
Yeah, and I listen to it all the time.
I don't listen all the time.
Like, what is that? And then
She knows the words though.
like,
I do know the words.
what WAP stands for.
Macaroni in a pot.
Waffles and pancakes.
I don't think it's that bad. I think she's
Want an apple pie.
Shock value, and I don't know. I like Cardi B. I don't have a problem with it.
I think there's parts that are clever.
Yeah.
It is just
You're
more
being
of a-
quiet, Mom.
Yeah, I would go listening to that personally. That's just, I don't know.
That was so
All right,
funny.
we're gonna move on to our next segment, which is a game of Would You Rather.
Oh no.
Oh, just.
So the first one: would you guys rather skydive or scuba dive?
Scuba.
Skydive.
Both of you?
Okay.
Okay, scuba dive and skydive.
Okay.
Cool.
Give up cheese or ice cream?
Cheese.
No pizza. Pizza. Quesadillas.
Ice cream's better, dude.
You can still have pizza. You can have a substitute.
Yep.
You can do.
That's true. There's like vegan cheese.
You can, yeah.
That's true. Oh yeah. Okay, I see you.
All right, Inaya.
Oh yes. Be the ugliest person in the world or smell the worst.
That is hard. I don't want to.
I would be the. Oh, smell? Really?
No, I said I don't want to smell bad.
It would cut off for a second. I was like, smell? Really? See, I would be the ugliest person in the world, but then get plastic surgery.
Because as Inaya knows, everything can be changed with plastic surgery.
No.
As we learned from the WAP music video.
Yep.
Or the Kardashians.
That's the ugliest person in the world rather than the stinkiest.
You said you'd rather be the ugliest person in the world?
I think so.
I think even the ugliest person in the world can find somebody who finds them attractive.
Mm-hmm.
People find Steve Buscemi attractive.
Being ugly is subjective.
I'm searching that
That's
up.
his personality, I think.
I think
Inaya
it's
thinks Danny DeVito's attractive.
subjective.
Oh no, but I love Danny DeVito. But he's not attractive.
Hey, what is yours?
I still think Pete Davis is attractive though.
No.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree.
true.
Yes, probably.
You said you'd rather be
Steve
ugly too?
Buscemi? People find him attractive?
Yeah.
Ew!
I
He's
think
funny,
it's
though.
the Shadowcon effect, though. I think Steve Buscemi, it's the same thing. It's the Shadowcon effect because when you hear about him and how he was a firefighter and how he helped in 9/11, and then you see him in like
It's true.
how awesome he is in different roles and how funny he is and how he's always he just
Or the Spy
slowly
Kids.
he wins you over, man.
He was
Just
in
like
Spy
the guy
Kids.
from The Good Place that we love from How Did This Get Made? I forgot his name.
In Spy
don't know.
Kids, he has one of the coolest lines of movie history, in my opinion, because he's
Wait,
like,
I don't
it's
know.
in it was Spy Kids 2, and he says, "Do you guys?" He was talking to Carmen and Judy, and he says, "Do you guys think God stays in heaven because he lives in fear of what he's created?" And it's because he created all these different animal hybrids, and they went crazy and took his island from him, basically. But that line is awesome. The next one. Okay, we're getting into the hard-hitting questions, guys.
Oh.
Would you rather drink your enemy's pee while they watch or eat your own poop in front of your parents?
Where are these questions coming from?
But here's the thing: if it's your poop, it's your own poop.
Yeah,
At
but
least
then
it's
it's
not
a
somebody else.
solid.
That's true. Oh, solids. Actually, no. Because if it's solid, I don't
You
know.
can just plug your nose and chug something.
I would rather do pee because pee is liquid. Yeah, exactly. So just.
So what do
and
you
it's
guys think?
basically just water.
I'll do enemies pee because I have no enemies.
Are you sure?
When you have to
Strong
drink somebody's pee.
disagree.
Nemesis said Orange
It's
Theory.
only my perspective that matters, right?
You have to drink somebody's pee while they watch.
My enemy and I don't know. Not really.
You have to-
my-
You don't have any what about that dude
Nemesis?
in Orange Theory? Yeah.
What's
None.
his name? But
Those are just jokes.
Something B.
Yeah, but we'll just deem him your enemy, so you have to drink his pee.
Go with that too. Yeah, I don't know. Although I wouldn't eat my own poop, but I would really struggle because I don't want my enemy to get the satisfaction that I'm getting.
That's true. Mom would really have
Yeah,
a hard
mom
time
wouldn't
with
like that.
Mom can't separate. Dad's like, I just have no enemies. Somebody's like, you're my enemy. Drink my pee. And Dad's like, no, I have no enemies. And Mom's like, I don't want you to see me doing this. Close your eyes.
Get the satisfaction.
Oh.
Okay,
right.
so would you rather poop in the only toilet at a party, sorry, at a party knowing that you'll clog it, or poop in the bushes in the backyard?
Toilet.
Toilet. Mom?
I think Dad and I are lookouts for each other, so like I would just toilet probably too. Then we
And
would
then you'd both escape?
just take off. Get clogged.
Or just bring a plunger if
Or
you
try
know
to
you're
find-
gonna do it.
Well,
Or like, he would text me and say, "Hey, this damn thing is broken, and can you go find a plunger?" Or vice versa.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Whatever house I'm in, I'm gonna be
No
like,
bushes.
toilet's clogged. Want me to fix it?
Okay, I see. I did not write this question, but would you rather get rid of Nasim or Jordan? Da da da.
That's so bogus.
I knew it would be, but
That's so bogus. We're not getting
damn
rid
it,
of anyone.
Nasim.
All right,
What
that's
the
fine.
hell?
Just go on to the next question.
Okay, this one is definitely not bogus. This one, would you rather have a vagina on your forehead or penises lining your back like a stegosaurus?
Hmm.
On my forehead so I can fuck my brains out.
Ew.
Jesus. I don't know. I'm thinking the forehead thing. Put Put a headband over it. Cover it up with a thick headband.
Oh my god.
But what if it's a WAP?
Oh no! Just drip.
I know it's not like, what if the penises started getting erect, like different erections?
That's
all
like
over?
Godzilla
no.
going into his final form. What are you talking about?
Well, how would you pee?
What if you
Like,
fell on your
you have to-
back?
Actually, peeing with a vagina forehead just.
Well, that would be easy. You just stand
It'd be the
over
same
it.
as throwing up in a toilet.
That's true. Oh yeah, that's fine. Definitely vagina.
Yeah,
Okay.
the backs thing would be hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. The next game is an association game. So we're just going to do a practice round. So as quickly as you can, I'm going to give you a word and you have to say good or bad. So practice round.
Oh no.
Christmas,
Good.
Good.
Black Friday,
Good.
Good.
black ice,
Bad.
ice cream,
Good.
poop.
Bad.
Okay.
Is it good? Because if you don't poop, all the waste in your body will explode out.
Yeah,
of you.
but poop in
That's
general
true.
is bad.
That's true. That's true.
why
Okay.
we
So
flush
real
it.
round.
Are we all saying good or bad, or is it just them?
Just them.
It's
Oh wait, no, because
like Inaya wasn't even here.
I'm just kidding. No.
Okay.
Okay, just gonna move on.
So real round. Pulp Fiction,
Good.
camping,
Good.
Good.
armpit hair,
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Bad.
tres leches cake,
Good.
Good.
cats,
Bad.
Good.
dogs,
Good.
K-Fed,
What is that?
Good.
Kevin
Kevin
Federline,
Well, he's okay.
Who?
Eminem,
Good.
Oh,
Snow,
Good.
Good.
Midsummer,
Good.
Orange Theory,
Good.
cocaine,
oh, I'm surprised. Charlie was like good.
cannabis,
Bad.
Bad.
Starbucks,
Good.
Uncle Iffy.
Bad.
That's awesome.
Oh. Whoops, did I say that?
That's hilarious. Keep going.
That's it. That
Oh,
was
just
it.
kidding. That was very funny. Okay. Now what? Oh wait, this is the.
That's the end
It's
of
not
the
like
game.
you have a sheet with all the answers
So-
in front of you.
I know. Whoopsies. So, I am grateful for you.
Nah, that was bad. That is the end of the interview. We figured with closing statements, we'd talk about how grateful we are that you guys are as awesome as you are, and how lucky we are to
Mhm.
have such good parents and
Sunshine,
role
aunts and
models and
uncles.
stuff like that, and just people who help us
Mhm.
out.
And who would sit on the phone for like what feels like it's been like 3 hours now.
It's been close. We're at an
Yeah.
hour and a half on this recording and an hour on the other one.
Yep.
But yeah, we're just super lucky, and we were really excited that you guys were able to do this with us, and I'm
Mhm.
sure we're going to iron out the kinks and everything, but it was awesome having you guys be our first episode, or
Our guinea
whatever you
pigs.
want to call it. Exactly.
Mhm.
And then I figured we could each kind of bring up some of our favorite, like one of our favorite moments that we've had with you. Does anyone have one that they want to talk about already?
I mean, just working out with you guys is fun. Sometimes, not always, but it is usually.
There was one moment that I remember because it's funny. It wasn't necessarily a good moment at the time, but now I look back on it and it's really funny to me. But Mom was yelling at me, and I was doing something, and I made her laugh. And so me and her started laughing together, and she was mad that I made her laugh, so she slapped me across the face. Not hard, but she slapped me across the face. And then we both paused for a second because we both were like not sure exactly what happened, and then we both started laughing even harder.
That's
See,
awesome.
I thought you were gonna bring up, and this one's a good one for Mom too. But I thought you were gonna say
Guys, don't make me look so bad.
this doesn't look
No,
bad.
it
I'm
doesn't
not.
look bad. That's why I
This
said
one's
not
not
hard.
a hitting one. You didn't hit him this time. So, but Jordan just has always had a way of just when he was in trouble, like me and Kaden can't do this. When mom's mad at us, we're stuck and we're like, crap, we're trapped here. There is no way out. Jordan has somehow found a loophole where he can just make her laugh.
That's
And all of a
awesome.
sudden she's like and she tries to hold on to it because she's like, I know I need to be like, she was like, I need to be disciplined. I need to like tell him it's not okay. He needs to know, but she's still laughing. And so there was one time where he was doing that to her and he made her laugh and she started trying to be serious and she kept saying, Jordan, stop laughing. I'm serious, Jordan. And then she grabbed a water bottle and went to splash him and missed him completely and hit poor Kaden, who was doing homework diligently behind Jordan. And so I was laughing, mom was laughing, and then poor Jordan and Kaden were crying. They were like,
That's so funny.
Her dad's abusing everybody. It's mom.
Oh, that's so
I don't think that was
funny.
abuse.
Neither of them were abuse.
No.
Oh, that's
It's just,
so
it's
good.
funny because it's just one of those things where like, how do you, you're trying to tell him something's not okay and you're trying to keep a straight face and you can't. It was funny.
Mhm.
But I think one of my favorite moments, I always think about, Dad took me to Starbucks when we were visiting in Arizona one time. And I just remember like one that was like the first, I think the first vanilla bean Frappuccino I remember getting. So I always kind of like vanilla bean Frappuccinos now. And then on top of that, we were talking and he was just, we just kind of talked about a bunch of different stuff, including like, Dad was like, you can talk to me the way you talk to your friends. And,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, yeah. And then a couple minutes we're still talking and he's like, I mean, you can curse if you curse. And I was like, I don't. So, because at the time I did it. And so it was just funny. That was funny. And then it was a fun day walking over to the Starbucks and stuff like that.
Aw.
And then with mom, I think we have a lot of those instances where we've got to have like little excursions, me and mom. I think as far as like a favorite day, it's hard to pick one because I feel like we do a lot of different things together.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
There's been so many trips and stuff like that that have just been awesome. We've gone
I
to
do
Hawaii.
miss
We've gone to
watching Bad Girls
Mexico.
Club with mom. That was our show.
Mhm.
We watched
Nobody
Breaking
else.
Bad.
I've never watched Bad Girls Club with anybody else, and it was just like one of those trash shows that you just watch and you're like, oh, she pulled her by her weave. Oh no. I remember actually there was one episode that I remember watching with mom that cracked us both up because there were these twins and I think it was the twins or something, that one of the girls was just really, really goofy. And so they were just sitting by the pool and it was one of those ones where like it was so slow and mom and I would always get irritated when it was slow because we were like, somebody punch somebody already. But so it's a super slow episode and then all of a sudden by the pool this girl's like, oh my god, look, it's a squirrel. And one of the other girls looks at it and she goes, bitch, that's a chipmunk. That was awesome.
That's so funny.
And that's only a show mom would watch with me. I don't know anybody else who would ever watch that show with me.
Oh, that's so funny.
Also,
Like,
look, I'm wearing the eyeshadow.
Look, me too. But not the one I just bought. A different one.
Look, I'm wearing the eyeshadow too, except you're not.
I'm wearing eyeshadow today. I did wear it yesterday, actually. The new one.
Uh-huh.
Anaya, do you have any closing statements?
But I was gonna say, like,
Oh,
these
never mind.
comments about this, I'm like, I don't like dad gets this nice sentimental thing and I get these like, mom slapped me and mom threw water on me and mom said
Those were hilarious.
I just gave you a good one right now.
We've had so many fun times together. Those ones just stand out because it happened so scarcely that they were memorable.
Yeah. I have a memory of you yelling at this homeless lady who was being mean to someone in our family at Pike's Place in
Yeah,
Hiroshima.
mom's yelled at a lot of people too because of me.
It wasn't a homeless, it was
Or no, she was cleaning. And she looked homeless. That's why I thought she was homeless. I thought she was like, okay, that came out wrong. But anyways, I just remember, wow, she's so badass. And then I was also laughing.
Anaya's scared of mom.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I'm never gonna get on your bad side. At least I hope I don't. I don't think I will. I'm gonna try not to. Cause like I don't
Don't be
know.
scared of me.
I'm not
not scared of
actually.
you.
I'm not scared of you.
Yes, she is.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Good.
Yes.
But yeah,
this
does
is
anyone
fun.
have anything else they want
Mom's
to add?
all, what? Say that to my face, motherfucker.
That's so funny.